My name is Nicola White. I'm a licensed Thames mudlark, well known for mudlarking on the River Thames and for researching the stories behind the objects I find. What happened when I handed over 10 of my mudlarking finds from Greenwich and Deptford in southeast London to 10 heritage trainees to research? What untold histories and intriguing facts did they uncover during the 7-week Lost and Found project? Come with me during this exclusive 10-part Lost and Found series to meet the trainees and to hear what their research has revealed. The Lost and Found project is produced by the Thames Festival Trust and made possible by a grant from the National Lottery Heritage Fund.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicola White. Welcome to the Thames foreshore and to episode 6 of the Lost and Found series. Today I'm at Deptford and I'm waiting to meet one of the 10 heritage trainees who studied one of my mudlarking finds from the southeast London area. Now today we are meeting Claire and she should be here any moment. In fact, there she is. Hi Claire.
Hi, good morning.
Great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Thank you for joining me here today. It's such a lovely day today.
Yes, definitely.
And so, would you like a cup of tea?
I would love a cup of tea.
Excellent. It's Empress Grey,
Lovely.
served in a Tideline art mug. And whilst I'm pouring it out, would you like to please introduce yourself to my viewers and reveal to us what you chose to study and why?
Yeah, sure thing. Hi everyone, my name is Claire. I'm a Lost and Found trainee and I decided to choose to study this beautiful figurine of a female that's made of pipe clay, but she's a bit of a mystery because there's nothing quite like her at the moment. And I'm excited to share with Nicola all the stuff that I managed to find out surrounding this little figurine. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very excited to hear what you found out. Now, when I found this little figurine, I was quite puzzled. I had no idea what she was used for. She's very interesting, as you'll see in the photograph. And I'm going to play you the footage now of when I actually found her a few years ago. Okay, now I've just seen something really curious and potentially quite exciting just down here. The light is fading, so you might not see it too well, but it's just here, and it looks like a little pair of legs and presumably a body. So let's do a little body extraction and see what comes out. Look, it's a tiny person. It's a tiny person. Wow, let's give it a wash. I don't know why, but it doesn't look like a doll. It looks like a mini adult, but maybe when I've got the mud off we'll see a little bit better. Maybe it's the Virgin Mary? Gosh, I don't know. So Claire, can you tell us a few points about what you found out about this little figurine?
Definitely.
Please.
So I ended up choosing this figurine because she actually reminded me a lot of Venus figurines that have been found throughout human history since around 38,000 BC. There's a long tradition of depicting the female figure in sculptural forms, but this particular one, there's nothing quite to her level of detail or in her exact pose or in her exact makeup of like clay pipe that we've managed to find in London so far. So she's a bit of a mystery. But if you would like, I can give you a little timeline of Venus figurines throughout time.
I'd love that. Yes, please.
Fantastic. So the earliest Venus figurine was found in Germany in 38,000 BC. It has a little ringlet on top, so it could have been attached to a pendant, and it's made out of ivory. A lot of the early Paleolithic figurines that were found around 30,000 to 10,000 years ago are all made out of different materials, but they all are quite distinct in their makeup. Some look very similar despite the very large time difference. But then you end up going into the Cyclades Islands in like 6,000 to 7,000 BC, and that's where you end up having some of the most famous, well-known Venus figurines that were made out of marble. Some are very small, and some end up reaching around 6 foot tall, but they were very much used for ritualistic purposes, to be put onto an island and then sail away. And then in London, the most impressive Venus figurines are found in Roman Londinium. They're a bit larger, but they're also made out of pipe clay, but they're very, very distinct. And you can normally find them in the centre of Roman Londinium, near the current Bank Station, City of London. And those ones are kind of the closest that we have to a kind of Venus figurine in the UK. Those were used as votives for fertility, for the Roman goddess Venus, after whom they're named. And a lot of these prehistoric earlier figurines are kind of associated with divinity, the female form, and again, promoting fertility and pregnancy during that time. But yes, there is also, during the Renaissance, and I managed to find out, beautiful descriptions of anatomical Venuses. So I mentioned it in my essay.
Yes, you've got a nice big, a very good picture here.
Yeah. So this is when I started exploring the idea of the female figure as a medical aid, because during the kind of early Enlightenment, the female body was kind of focused on, mainly because they kind of attributed the female form with hysteria, with kind of the classic things that you kind of get about women during that period. And so they focused on studying it, and they created these beautiful little anatomical Venuses that you can open up and look at the kind of organs, the insides, what they knew about the female body, and carry it with you. So it's kind of used for medical students, so they could learn more about the female form, and they wouldn't have to dissect many a human body.
Right. Yes.
Because you can imagine how that kind of quickly adds up after a while, and you start to lose out on a lot of information. But that is kind of the most recent, very close example that we have to the female figurine that I have here. Otherwise, I've had people say that she is very seductive, very much like a temptress. So they kind of associate her with 18th century kind of prostitution, sex workers. It was kind of rife along the South Bank. That was where all the brothels were, which was opposite the City of London, where all the kind of corporate finance people would work and then come across and then have their pleasure. And she is quite, I would say she's holding up her skirt.
Yes, she is, isn't she? Yeah.
But the word anasyrma arrives from Greek Greek text depicting sculptures that have their skirts raised. And the original myth is about this servant called Balbo, who kind of cheered up the goddess Demeter after recently losing her daughter Persephone to the lord Hades. She ended up cheering her up by raising her skirt and making her laugh. And there's a lot of depictions as various nymphs or different kind of Greek mythological figures raising their skirt in that kind of naughty, fun, humorous way. And then that kind of carries on into Victorian paintings of kind of sex workers revealing their skirts in kind of naughty ways to kind of shock men, but it's really interesting the kind of undertone that takes in how we kind of look at the female figurine overall, and what that tells us about how we interpret female forms and the body throughout history. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting, isn't it? And I love the way in your essay you've shown that she doesn't remember what she was for. I like that. It says she cannot breathe and yet she sighs, tired after centuries of being trapped in sediment. Time has worsened her memory. She knows she's made of earth, specifically that used in the making of clay pipes, though no one seems to smoke them now. Moulded and cast and attached to what? She cannot remember, though. She is sure it was important. She's a figurine, this she knows. And I love that, the fact that she isn't sure what she was made for either. When I found her, and I showed her to various people, so I've also had people suggesting that maybe she was something slightly like pornographic in the 1700s, 1800s, and a sailor might have kept her in his pocket at sea. Also, like the medical example you were talking about, people have suggested that a woman might have gone to the doctor and then pointed to various parts of the body because she didn't want to actually sort of point to her own body. So a medical aid. And also I've been having people suggesting that it's possibly a pipe tamper, but I don't think she is because her feet are really tiny.
No, completely. I think the thing that kind of stumps a lot of people is the fact that she has a little kind of bit on her back where it seems like it's been broken off. But she's too large to kind of be attached to anything obvious there. If it was a clay pipe tamper, it would be on the feet that you would see it breaking off. But the back is quite... I've had some people say that she could have been attached to a ring or to a pot handle. But yes, I think it's interesting to kind of see the different interpretations from people from different disciplines. I was very lucky to talk to a lot of people from archaeology, medieval historians, as well as mudlarkers. And everyone had wildly differing opinions about what she could have been. My favorite was when someone said she could have been Roman, but attached to a Roman vase during these supposed Roman orgies that were taking place in Londinium at the time. But she's also very detailed. So I think that's something that kind of throws a lot of people off, is that she doesn't... A lot of the other Venus votives and figurines we get from Roman times aren't as detailed and aren't as small as she is here. But
Yes. So you've written a great essay, which is fantastic. And if you would like to read Claire's essay, which is entitled The Forgotten Goddess, then you can actually read it for free on the Thames Festival Trust website. You can download it. You can download this whole book, which is lost and found. And you can also receive a hard copy if you go onto my Kofi site. And I just want to read the last bit here that you've put. The remembered goddess. So we return to our small figurine. In her contemplation, she realizes she still does not remember why she was made. Was she a symbol of divine fertility, an anatomical aid, or a devilish temptress? She does not remember, and maybe she does not want to. I love that. I love the way you've written that. And has she inspired you?
yeah, no, definitely. I think it's inspired me to kind of think about how we use historical objects and archaeological objects that don't have a definite story behind them, and how we use it to kind of reflect what we're going through in society at this moment. A lot of the times these Venus figurines have come up to surround discussions surrounding female rights, bodily rights, surrounding rape culture, surrounding abortion rights, all that kind of stuff. And it's interesting to kind of see her come up and see people's instant reactions to it. But I think it's something for the audience to take away, that there's still like a lot of mystery in the past, and that's okay. Like, it's completely okay not to know, and that's the fun of it. But yeah.
Yeah, and I just take another look. Yeah, just to finish off. Again, this is a perfect example of how a little mudlarking find can lead to such knowledge and such information. So absolutely fascinating. When I found her, I had no idea I was going to learn all the things that you've just told us about. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So before we go and get something to eat, how have you found it being in the Lost and Found project?
Absolutely adored it. It was incredible. I was surrounded by the most amazing group of people who were so willing to have open conversations about the past and about the present. And I met so many amazing experts from all different fields in London. And obviously I got to do some mudlarking myself on the Thames foreshore, which is an added bonus. But yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me here today. And well, do let us know what you think. If you have any ideas as to what this beautiful little goddess was used for, what her purpose was, then let us know your thoughts. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on episode 7. So thank you very much.
Thank you.